Ladies and gentlemen, it's now 9 o'clock here in beautiful Gaithersburg, Maryland. We're going to go ahead and start our webinar for patent channels on the SmartNode 10200 series. We have a lot of material to cover today, so my presentation, probably the least important. I'm going to go through it as quickly as I can. I'm going to be presenting just a really quick overview of what this SmartNode 10200 product is. I'm going to give you a little bit of a small picture into the strategy behind this product. And then we're going to be joined by Jagdeep from our India office, who's going to be presenting some use cases on the product. And then Ernesto from Latin America is going to be presenting some applications. And then Tyler Denon, who is the product manager for the SmartNode series, will be giving a short presentation on the services that are available for the products and the tools and the resources that we're making available to our channel partners. And then if we have time, we'll have Q&A. As we go along with the presentation, if you think up questions, please use the chat tool on the GoToWebinar interface to present your questions, and then we will be selecting questions from your chat messages and trying to cover them at the end of the presentation. So this is the new patent SmartNode 10200. This is what it looks like. It's a 2U high box. In terms of product positioning, basically what this means for our SmartNode series is that we're increasing the density, and we've added various protocols and signalings to enable us to address applications in carrier core networks and large enterprises. Really quickly, from a feature point of view, this same 2U chassis that supports up to 2,048 simultaneous VoIP call terminations can be expanded up to 64 T1 E1s. Of course, you can buy it fully loaded, or you can buy it with 16 E1 ports and upgrade in 16 E1 increments, and that is a hardware and software upgrade. It requires a little DSP module that gets installed into the box. It's also available with 1 to 3 DS3 interfaces or 1 OC3 Stem 1 interface. The box is doing TDM to TDM and TDM to IP and IP to IP communications, and as we get into a little bit of the use cases and applications, you'll see why that's very important in terms of the market dynamics that we're seeing right now. The product has flexibility to interface with any TDM equipment or service provider networks. As I mentioned, it's supporting all of the key signaling that's required: SS7, ISDN PRI, CAS R2. Of course, it does SIP, SIGTRAN, and all of these can be supported simultaneously in the same box. We believe this is the most cost-effective single-box solution in the marketplace where SS7 is required. The product does come with all kinds of survivability and redundancy aspects, not just the dual power supply support, but we have SS7 link redundancy, and in the future we'll be announcing 1+1 box redundancy in this series. It does offer low operating expense, and it's kind of a green product with very low power consumption for the kind of capacity that's inside the box. And it allows you to connect with confidence to diverse VoIP endpoints, and we also support transcoding in this box, very much like we do in the 4960 series. Okay, so the product itself is available in all of these standard SKUs. As I mentioned, you could start with the right-sized number of T1, E1 interfaces up to 64, and all of them are upgradable. As well, the DS3 and OC3 Stem 1 versions, all of the SKUs are there listed for your reference. The boxes can be upgraded there's the hardware-software upgrade that I mentioned before. And then, of course, you can add the number of SS7 links that are required by ordering license keys. Now, we're going to be talking a lot more about the product, but I wanted to take a little bit of time to show you, what's behind this, because this product announcement is something that we've been working on for a long time, and it comes within the context of a market strategy. The market strategy is reflected in the new branding that we're rolling out as a company with the Let's Connect slogan. Let's Connect is true to our brand values. It means for us staying connected with the pulse of the marketplace. Obviously, it refers back to the connectivity products that our company is famous for. It means connecting the old with the new in terms of technology. But really, the point I want to make about the Let's Connect strategy for our channel partners is that it's also reflecting a new ecosystem that we're building as a company. And we have some specific strategic objectives. We want to become a top-of-mind vendor in this voice-over IP space, which means we want patent to be synonymous with voice-over IP, to be synonymous with smart nodes in the marketplace. We're pushing the product portfolio, our channel relationships, our partnering arrangements up in terms of size, and all of this is to increase the average order size of our company so that we can grow the business. And we are, offering a comprehensive portfolio of voice-over IP products to address all of the major market segments. The go-to-market strategy for this product, and really all smart nodes, is that we're about selling solutions, not boxes. We know customers are buying systems, and that the smart nodes are a part of that system. And so we're really working very hard to get into the stream of commerce and build solutions by relating ourselves with best-of-breed interop partners. And the new strategy is a little bit different from the old strategy. We're moving up. We're targeting now leaders in unified communications, leaders in IMS deployments and carrier services who have measurable market shares, because we're really trying to have an impact in this space. And then what we're doing is we're putting all this together to deliver channel-centric solutions. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But our ecosystem priorities then, from an IMS carrier point of view, our new agreement with BroadSoft is in play, and we're intensely engaging with them. And we're targeting Avaya as a key partner for the unified communications space for the enterprise marketplace. In terms of the ecosystem, we need to have a wide channel in order to have a strong sales force to deliver the market coverage. And we're trying to build brand awareness of the company in the enterprise. And of course, we're always holding on to those direct relationships with the service providers. Real quickly on the with regard to this strategy, we're noticing that there's a new cycle of investment in the carrier market. This is something that's coming from research reports. It seems that these service providers, after the lows of 2009, are now in a good position to invest in this new trend and cycle that we're seeing in the marketplace. And they're investing those free cash flows in wireline and wireless broadband projects. And this trend that we're in right now is expected to end by 2014. We all know what this trend is about. It's about moving the carrier core network to all IP and delivering services around those. The carriers trying to get into this big enterprise trend of cloud and unified communications and security. That's why we're seeing things like SIP trunks as being a hot topic today. I also want to mention that there's another trend that's going on that people don't normally talk about, and that's the geopolitical trends, where from a From a security point of view, it's more than just what kind of security protocols are running in your box. It's becoming almost like, are you working with a trusted vendor? And in addition to that, from a U.S. market dynamic point of view, we're seeing a real reversal and a drive to bring back homes, or bring back jobs to the home market. And so we're starting to hear people talk about onshoring and insourcing and these kinds of things. Okay, so to be more specific, the growth markets are towards the migration of the carrier core from Class 4 to Class 5 into NGN, the adoption of SIP trunks and hosted services, expansion of voice-over broadband networks that are focused on delivering SIP services, and then, of course, we're all very aware of this new mobile VoIP world in which we're living. So the growth solutions that we're targeting include converged enterprise telephony, unified communications, next-generation mobile networks, call centers, including recording and IVR functionality, survivability and disaster recovery, and then residential and SOHO telephony. So the point that I'm trying to make here real quick is, why should patent channels or focus on the smart node? It's because we have the right technology for this trend going into 2014. We also see that other players are faltering and consolidation is happening. VegaStream has been absorbed by NET, and they changed their strategy to not really try to be a gateway vendor. We saw, I'm sorry, that was Quintum with NET. VegaStream was absorbed by Sagnoma, and there's other pending announcements about some of the other players. We planned ahead and realized these portfolios that are really hitting these growth markets, and we have, as a company now, the global presence and global support to support these large partnerships that we're trying to pursue in order to tap into these markets. So we're really at the right place at the right time, also in terms of these geopolitical movements that I talked about. And we really have the resources and the ability to connect and see keywords that are important to realization of the opportunity: interoperability, scalability, consistency, reliability, and quality. So with that quick introduction, I'm going to hand over the floor to Jagdeep. Jagdeep is a senior field application engineer working for Patent India, and he's going to present for us a few use cases.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Bert, and welcome everyone. So basically, as what Bert has shared, I am I will take you through the use cases of SmartNode 10200, and here, to start with, basically these solutions are targeted for the carrier core. I will take on the enterprise segment as well. So to start with, the trunking solution for the long distance VoIP networks. So basically here, for the trunking solution, people require very high capacities, multiple redundant routes are required. They require the complex decisions which are to be based on the call routing criteria, multiple interfaces, and simultaneous signaling support of various protocols, and then transcoding as well as IP normalization. So these are some of the things which are required for the trunking solutions in the carrier core to have the long distance VoIP telephony. So here is where Patent fits in with this SN10200 gateway. So I will take on this in my next slides, and then talking about the Convergence Engine for applications like you talk about application like VAS application, prepaid calling card application, so where the traffic is coming from multiple SIP trunks or PSTN interfaces, and then certainly you might need to filter some call traffic based on the call parameters and routing. So this can all be done at the gateway level itself. So for these kind of applications, so SN10200 fits very well in this space. And then for routing calls between the operator or within the same operator, so there you might require some kind of weighted routing, or you might want to send X number of calls to an operator A or to Y number of calls to operator B. So therein you can define your own, you can define the call admission controls, you can define your own routing rules, how the call has to be routed. So all those kinds of routing are required these days in the carrier core space as well, and SN10200 can handle it very well. But next slide, please. So here is an example of wherein we have shown the carrier core, and this you can assume that these could be different operators or these could be same operator, so which is like terminating the traffic might be from ISDN, from SIP, or from SS7, or it could be the SS7 coming over IP, which is SIGTRAN traffic. And then basically these boxes can sit at the operator's end and they can pass the traffic, they can route the traffic between various operator nodes, or even between operators. So herein they can even talk to a centralized soft switch, or they can even talk in pairs between each other, and they can route the traffic to each other operator. So herein, like as I've shown you, the same box can terminate the traffic from SIP, it can terminate the traffic from ISDN or SIGTRAN or SS7, or even the same box. If I say the same box, one box can terminate SIP, ISDN, SS7, and SIGTRAN at the same time. So that is the kind of flexibility which this box brings on the table. Next, please. So if I talk about the carrier code, the end node applications. So the end node applications is where the traffic actually terminates. So the kind of IVR applications which require the traffic to be terminated onto SIP, wherein the IVR applications are running. So basically this box can terminate, it can converge traffic from various interfaces, and the traffic can be then terminated onto either to one single application, or there could be multiple applications sitting at the back end. So basically this gateway acts as a single touch point with the network, whereas the application can be sitting behind it. And from the same gateway you can control the routing, you can control the number of calls going to various applications, or you can define routing based on A party, B party numbers where the call should go. And because we have benchmarked this box with very high calls per second, and it's specifically ideal for applications which have got very low call hold time and very high volumes. So specifically talking about applications like missed call alert or the color ringback tones. So these kind of applications, or you talk about the bulk out dialers which have very high call failure rates, and you have got more call attempts, so which rises your CPS considerably. You talk about the TV show polling, which requires high traffic during TV show times, and very high traffic spikes might come at some odd hours, and then the call conferencing kind of applications, so wherein we have got the fully populated DSP farm on the board. So the call conferencing, which is a media intensive application, or the background music kind of applications which require the media injection. So those kind of applications can be either built on the same platform, or there could be a SIP application server sitting at the back end handling these applications. And if you talk about the general application development, applications like the IVR system, the general IVR systems, or the jukebox, or the social networking integrations. So this is where this box actually fits in. So for any kind of IVR application which we can think about under the sun, so you can use the same box to have all kind of terminations coming on the box and then routing the call to an IVR applications. So here, this is an example, just an example on the same box. So here we have got the terminations which might be coming from the SIP, SS7, ISDN from various operators, and then this SN10200 can talk to a database for the routing rules, or you can even define your complex call routing on the same box, and then these can be then, this box can distribute the traffic to the various IVR platforms at the back end. But next, please. So the next is the enterprise SIP trunking. So enterprise SIP trunking is another thing which is a considerable which is considered as a big thing, and in fact the interop, which is the major thing required, and it's the basic thing which is required for the enterprise SIP trunking, because nobody knows what is there on the other end. So because the pattern being there in the field for so long, so we have got a very high degree of interop done with the major SIP trunk players in the market, and we have done also very extensive testing with the major IP-PBX and even T1 based PBX systems in the market. And because it is good for enterprise SIP trunking being sitting on the network side, because it provides very high potency with lesser footprints, and you can save on the real estate cost in the data centers. And then the network access profiling, which is the profiling of the networks, it allows for the smooth branch integration if we have got multi-branch environment, so which I'll be discussing in the next slide. And then because this box can be deployed in 1+1 architecture, it provides very high degree of reliability. So even it maintains the state machine between the servers, and if one box fails in, the entire state machine is shifted to the other box, so where you even preserve the active calls as well. So, and then the instant recovery on subsystem failures. So this is what it can give you in terms of reliability. And then all these things it provides over a single interface for the management. So you can do all kind of operations, administration, maintenance, as well as the provisioning from the same interface. So that interface is a web interface in our case. And then in terms of the security, so because you can define your own routing rules, you can define your own routing decisions, you can define your call entry exit control points, which makes your system quite flexible as well as reliable, wherein you can stop any kind of fake calls by looking at the A party number, B party number, or in case of SIP, you can even parse the IP addresses and other things. And as I've told you, it's like it is easy to integrate into the existing network, and because we have got huge interop done with the various operators in the market, so it's quite easy to get interop. So just to give an example of an enterprise SIP trunking here, so here as you could see, there's a single box which is sitting on the edge of an enterprise headquarters, so wherein we have got SN10200 sitting, and which is talking to the ISPs as well as to the branch offices, to the enterprise itself on SIP, and then also defining the PST and fallback on even T1 within the same box. So herein the SN10200 can be sitting and within the same enterprise, and then the other small boxes of smart node, which could be 1E1, 2E1, or 3E1, or like it could be ESBRs, which could be sitting at the end node of the branch offices. So wherein you can terminate your actual devices to be talking directly to the IP-PBX in the enterprise. What next, please? So here is another case of which is a specific channel marketing concept. So, and here this is a use case with a Nortel passport replacement. So if we look at the existing Nortel passport architecture, okay, so Nortel products are going end of life, as we all know, and then the major thing is that the post Nortel acquisition, the customer fears some kind of support issues, because that is what like we have seen in the market, as well as the migration from the lease line to MPLS network. So people are moving from the traditional DS3 lines to an MPLS cloud. So as well as like SIP is becoming the standard for voice communication. So if we are moving on to SIP, so people are moving on to MPLS as well. So, and then other system components like ACD, IVR, dialers, they are all moving on to SIP. So they require some kind of a box which can then terminate the SIP traffic directly onto these ACDs or IVRs or the dialers. So here, if we talk about this kind of replacement requirement, so we have got pattern SN10200, which is again with very less manageability and operational issues. You can replace, or you can simply plug in SN10200s, and you can take the entire traffic over SIP over an MPLS cloud, and then it provides you better like redundancy and quality of service, because you can define multiple routing paths on the same box, and then 1+1 architecture gives you more reliability, which is a telco grade 5 nines reliability, and it's all based on industry standard SIP interfaces, as we know that everyone is moving on to SIP. So we have got the best in the market, which is field proven SIP stack in the box. And here is an example of a Nortel passport architecture, which is an existing architecture with the DS3 over lease lines. So here, as you could see, there are multiple service provider SP1, SP2, SP3, which are terminating various interface faces like STM1, E1, or T1, which is again being aggregated at some nodes on this east side of the network. On the west side, you have got the traffic termination, so wherein again you require another pair of passport boxes, or these passport boxes have to be deployed in pair, wherein they can actually take the traffic over DS3s, and then on the other side you are terminating the traffic on the TDM based call centers, either over E1s, or it could be like over SIP. So for that you might require another gateways to be placed before these IPPBX boxes. So to replace this architecture, but next slide please. So this is how the architecture can be simplified, and so here we have got SN10200s, which are terminating all STM1s, even T1s into the same box, and then the traffic is basically being concentrated, and then it can be routed over the MPLS cloud. We can define multiple routing paths, multiple reliability on the same box, and then the traffic can be taken directly to either to a SIP-based call center, or we can place another SN10200 box or smaller smart node gateways, which can terminate the traffic over even to a contact center. So this is where this is an example wherein we can place our like boxes to replace the Nortel architecture. So moving on, I just want to give you an idea of the competitive edge which we have got on the box. So here, as you know, in SN10200, so all the signaling stacks, be it SS7 or be it the ISDN stack or the SIP stack, all stacks run on the same box, and the full SS7 stack till ISIP runs within the same box. So you don't require a separate box which is might be handling ISIP, or might be this box might be giving traffic over SIGTRAN, and then that traffic being terminated on some other box. So this is not the case here. So you have got one single box which is terminating all SS7, ISDN, SIP traffic with the same stack running on the same box. And then it's a modular architecture of the box. So within the same box there are modules which not only talk between each other, but they do talk to other box in the 1+1 kind of architecture. So basically each module maintains a state machine with the other module, which provides you a very high level of redundancy. And then the routing in the box, so which is it is very flexible, and it's Ruby based routing. So when I say Ruby based routing, so you can define your routing, you can modify, and you can create your own routing rules in Ruby scripting on the gateway, which can again be done from the same web interface. So you can apply a routing rule from the same web interface, and then this Ruby scripting, with Ruby scripting you can even talk to database, you can do your own stuff and then pass the call back to the interface. So basically in those terms the system is very reliable and flexible, and then as Bert has shared, it provides very high densities up to 64 event events in one single box, and we have done interop with the major vendors in the market. So we have got application notes, config examples, all are there on the website. And then we have also done the legacy system interconnection. So because we have been there in the market since long, so we know how to interconnect to those systems. So our SIP stack is fairly mature enough to handle those kind of interconnections. And we have got single operation and maintenance and provisioning interface. So basically, unlike the people in the market who might ask you to have one config files for the board, other config file for configuring routing rules, third config file might be for a stack, SS7 stack, other config file for ISDN, so it's not the case here. So you have got one single interface from wherein you can control and you can define everything from there. So just to give an example of what is there available in the market. So there are people who are giving you a similar kind of 2U box, which might not be terminating up to 64 events, T1s, or they might not be even terminating STM1s. And there could be other guys who might convert only SS7 to SIGTRAN and cannot process the ISUP, but here we do everything on the same box. And then the other people, they might, when they are passing on SIGTRAN to the second box, it becomes a 2-box solution with full SS7 support. But again, you are limited with the routing and mapping capabilities. So, but in some other brands, you might have some fixed and limited routing, so wherein you can either define one route or 2 routing rule algorithms. You cannot go beyond that. So, but here, because it's a Ruby-based scripting, so you can define your own routing rules the way you want it. You can modify everything. And then some guys even require some external load balancers for traffic distribution. So, but here at Pattern, we can do everything within the same box. So from the same box, you can define where the traffic is to terminate, where the traffic is to go. So you don't need external load balancers to send the traffic to various interfaces. So with this, I would pass on to Ernesto.
Thank you, Jared. Great presentation. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm going to go now through some applications more from the perspective of the end user of the technology. We have created a classification of different types of applications. We have 2 groups, the carrier and service provider group, where we can find in the market a user case and applications on the CPE side, on the interconnection side, on network migration, value-added services. And as a second group, we have the large customers where we can have legacy integration, contact centers that unify communications. Next slide. Okay, on the CPE legacy SIP trunking for the carrier applications, we're gonna see basically the use of a SN10200, Smart Node 10200, has a front end to integrate large customers that have a high density ports in the TDM world. So the carrier is now moving into the IP technology, and they want to preserve those customers and don't force them to migrate to the IP infrastructure. Click. So even though the carrier can provide, using the same box, a path for migration, if the customer is willing to migrate to an IP infrastructure on their PBX side, they can use the same Smart Node 10200 to divert calls based on, for example, that number. And also on the IPTBX side, the customer can integrate TDM service providers. Next slide. That's an interesting application that we call tapping. There is the case is an incumbent carrier that has large customers, with high density TDM, and there is a competitive carrier that is IP-based and is willing to provide some or offer new services to these customers. So the challenge usually is, how can I provide services without forcing the customer to make an investment on operating the PBX, because I'm a SIP-based provider. So we can use a Smart Node 10200 and have a back-to-back TDM connection with the previous TDM provider, and tapping on the same lines, you can start providing, for example, incoming and outbound services based on IP to this customer. That's a way to enter in the market and stealing customers from incumbent carriers. Next slide. Okay, on the interchange segment of applications, there are many different cases. One is the international long distance and long distance carriers. Usually, on the international long distance, you want to find out that the legacy or the incumbent carriers there still have what they call the tandem TDM switch, where they receive TDM-based interconnection with peers to do long distance national and international. So, but nowadays there is a bunch of additional offerings on the market based on IP, and more the TDM offering on the international termination is not growing anymore. So using the 10200, you can integrate to your same billing AAA and clearinghouse applications the SIP vendors that are providing termination. So and you can stay on the TDM side with the old carriers using your old legacy switch, or next slide, or even you can fully replace that class 4 tandem switch with a smart node 10200 to integrate now with only one box all the SIP traffic and even the TDM traffic coming from the legacy carriers. Next slide. There is another interconnection. From the application perspective, it's very similar to the international and long-distance interconnection, but and this is an opportunity that I have seen, at least in my market. You're going to see countries that have been deregulated in the last few years, and they have incumbent carriers that are basically monopolists in their own territory, and even the new entrants are fully SIP-based. They're going to force the interconnection of those new carriers on the TDM side of their network. So there is no other best cost-effective solution than the 10200 for the interconnection on the local regions of an incumbent carrier. Another interesting thing is the network migration. It's a fact that all carriers are moving to the full IP and IMS infrastructure, but that is not happening overnight. Or carriers are trying to take advantage of new applications on the IP world and integrate those applications into their existing intelligent network infrastructure. There's two types of migration that we have seen in the market. One is what we call the edge migration, which is a migration on the central offices of class 4 and class 5 switches to IP by preserving the core on SS7. So you can use the Smart Node 10200 in each one of the central offices to keep the integration with the existing SS7 network, but allow to operate on the edge. The other type of, next slide. The other type of migration is when the migration happens on the core of the network. So you're starting to replace your SS7 cloud with an IP cloud, but you can preserve the TDM connectivity to your central office. Next slide. Okay, now talking more on the value-added applications or value-added services. There are traditional retail services that need high-density connectivity on the TDM side. Applications like the calling cards and the PIN-free callback services and so on, where you need to interconnect your IP-based infrastructure and IP-based applications with carriers, in some cases overseas, with high-density connectivity to manage high-density calls. Next slide. One back. Okay, another type of applications, what we call the IVR or ACD-based applications. The typical ones are services provided by the carriers or service providers like Follow Me or Single Number Reach, automated assistants, virtual officers, click to call, televoting, etc. All calls that are made to a subscriber of any of those services are routed to a SIP-based platform application from the TDM side. So you can use the 10200, SmartNode 10200 Media Gateway just to provide that connectivity. Next slide. Streaming applications are applications that are based on streaming some audio in some part of the calls, like, for example, mixing background noise or customized background noise with a specific existing call, or providing ringback tones on a call setup. So this is an example. If you click, okay, this is an example of a customer that is willing to, is trying to make a call from point A to point B. User A is going to call to user B in two different networks, two different providers, okay? And the system detects that this destination number is a subscriber of a ringback tone. So the signaling goes on the SIP side, goes to the server farms where the application ringback tone is residing, and provides the ringback tone selected by this customer to the caller. So once the call is established, then the ringback tone disappears and the call is connected. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more on applications on the large customer side. Okay, legacy integration, which is basically large corporations usually have huge investments on legacy TDM, and but they want to take advantage of new services provided on the IP market. So you have the possibility to integrate services from different providers on the IP side by using the SmartNode as a front end on your TDM PBX on high density ports. Next slide. Okay, here's an example. We have on the left side we have a legacy PBX or a call center, let's say, based on TDM, where you're using the SmartNode 10200 to concentrate different IP or voice providers based on SIP or even SS7. Or you can also integrate an additional PBX IP base. You can use the SmartNode to front-end different service providers and decide if you are migrating services from the legacy TDM, from the legacy PBX to the IP PBX, take the routing decisions on the SmartNode. And at the same time, on the IP side, on the IP PBX, you can front-end services coming from vendors or providers of a TDM traditional legacy service. Next one. On the contact center and the IP adoption, the SmartNode can play a very interesting role, which is when you talk about a large call center, you have not only the call center application, but also you have a IP PBX or PBX infrastructure. So in some cases you are migrating the call center application, but you want to keep or retain your TDM PBX or TDM-based PBX. So you can use the SmartNode to interact with PSTN TDM services, route the calls to the call center or the PBX using sophisticated rules into the SmartNode, or you can use also the same SmartNode to route the calls via TDM to an existing legacy PBX. It is a fact that the cloud is growing, and the possibility of providing services like hosted call center based on the new trends on cloud computing. So you can use a smart node, not only our 10200, but also smart nodes like the 4960 if you have customers that are renting services from a hosted call center and they want to integrate to that application their own T1s or E1s at a low scale level using 4960. Or also you can use the 10200 to integrate at the wholesale level on the hosted call center or even in a customer side high density PBM ports. Okay, I'm going to pass to Tyler.
Thanks, Ernesto. This is Tyler DeLynn. I'm one of the Smart Node product managers. Before we conclude this webinar, we wanted to give you a quick overview of the support as well as tools and resources that we're going to have for you for this Smart Node 10200. We do have field application engineers in the field. At this moment, we currently have 3, one in Asia for you, one in the European continent, as well as one in North America. These guys are all trained, they're equipped and ready to provide remote as well as on-site support for you. And we also will be adding more to the mix as we continue to roll out this product. We also wanted to mention the Smart Media certification. Now, it's very important to understand that this is not Smart Node certification. It's not Smart Node Smartware certification. That's a different software. This product is actually running a new Smart Media software. So we're going to have its own certification course. And at the completion of this course, you can expect that you'll be ready to install, configure, as well as maintain any Smart Node Smart Media product that we have to offer. These are going to be starting around June, and the training will be typically 3 days, maybe 9 to 5, Wednesday through Friday, and the tuition below, you can expect about $1,800 US. The last thing real quick here, in the coming days, I'm going to go ahead and send you this recorded webinar. That way, if you want to go back through this, you can. I know it was a lot of information. Or if you want to share it with others, you can do that, and we'll provide it to those who missed, in case you have anybody you know that missed it and weren't able to attend. We're also, as I mentioned, I guess a month ago, we do have a pre-order promotion where we're offering all of our channel partners 10% below Tier 1 price, no matter where you fall on the tiered pricing. Everybody's going to get 10% below Tier 1 in the coming, I guess, there's probably a month left in that. I also wanted to mention, as of yesterday, the web pages are live. You can go to our website and find the 10200 on there. There you can also find the data sheets for this product. You can see the data sheet in the bottom right hand of the screen. We also wanted to mention that to support you in your efforts, we're going to be doing a lot of demand creation activity. As you can see on the left side here, that's one of our sample ads that we're going to be running in a few different magazines, Internet Telephony for one, Total Telecom for the other, as well as on several different websites. And you can expect that you're going to see this 10K in several different ads. We also wanted to mention that from your regional director, you should be receiving tiered pricing for this 10K series. And in the coming days, hopefully in the next couple of days, I'll be able to get this out to you, but we're going to have an SS7 tutorial that our own support guys actually wrote for you. And lastly, we did want to mention, we did do a SIP trunking webinar in December that we have recorded. It's on our website. If you go to training and events and then click on webinars, there's a recording of the SIP trunking webinar. It's a little more focused towards small and medium-sized enterprises. But be sure to check that out. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump to the Q&A. That concludes our 10200 channel partner webinar. We hope you guys found it helpful, and we just want you to know we're excited about this product. We hope you are as well, and you can expect the same quality and reliability that you have come to know from Smart Node products. So if you do have a question, go ahead and type it in, and we'll be able to grab it and answer for you.
Yeah. Looks like we do have one question. I'm going to throw this one at Jagdeep. It's asking, do we support MFCR2 signaling? Jag? Jagdeep?
Hello?
Ernesto?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. The question from the audience is, do we support MFCR2 signaling?
Yes, we do support MFCR2 signaling. So if you have got any specific country variants, you can share with us. And in fact, we can also share with you what all like country variants we support. It is it will be like on the website as well.
Okay. Good. Well, it does not appear as right now that we have any further questions in the queue, which is surprising because we have a lot of participation here. Looks like we have. Okay, here we go. Here's some more. Okay, so they're answering about the profile for Saudi Arabia on MFCR2, and the answer is yes, we can support that profile. Does it support transcoding via H.248 signaling? Ernesto or Jagdeep? Taking technical questions, does it support transcoding via H.248?
Yeah, so via H.248 you can control the signaling part, and you can route the call from IP back onto IP with a different profile of the codecs. So that way you can do the transcoding from the one call which is landing onto IP and the other call going back onto IP.
Okay. And then can the soft switch instruct the 10,200 to transcode the call?
Yeah, so basically here, depending on the profiles, okay, so a call is might be landing from one interface, it might be going out onto the other interface. So based on the interface, you can define a particular codec profile. So a call which is coming through one interface or through one NAP, which is the network access profile. So based on that, the call can come into the system, and then the outgoing call will be going with a different profile set. So
okay.
So that way.
And yeah. So the next question is, does it support Srtp? Have we lost Jagdeep or Ernesto?
No, I'm back.
Question from the audience. The question from the audience is, does it support Srtp?
So it doesn't support Srtp as of now, but it will be like supported in the very near future.
Okay. Okay, so I think you covered this point during the presentation, Jagdeep, but the question from the audience is there the possibility to put two or more signaling point codes on a single box? I'm not sure if I understand the question, but two or more signaling point, maybe they mean codecs. Signaling point codes on the box.
Point codes. It will be point codes. Yes, you can define more than one point code on the same box.
Yes. Okay. And there's a specific interoperability question about the PGW soft switch from Cisco. That's a research question that we'll have to answer offline. Okay. Well, we're just about 55 minutes. It doesn't look like there appears to be any more questions from the audience. If any of your colleagues have missed this call, we'll be having another one in about 12 hours from now to accommodate different time zones. So thank you all for joining, and at this point we're going to end the webinar. Goodbye for now.